good to have you with us on this edition of the Urban Debate. Viewers, this entire week, we've been telling you the story of Mumbai. In fact, for many weeks, we've been constantly tracking this data, and then we raised the alarm on the status of affairs in Mumbai with the steep rise in cases, especially in the last 1 week since the month of May really began. Questions are now being asked about the handling of the case, and we have repeatedly asked if the government and the civic body were actually handling it right or if they were letting us down. And what can be more proof of that fact than the decision that has been taken just a short while ago? The decision to shunt out the BMC chief, the BMC commissioner, Parveen Pardesi, has now been transferred out. He will be replaced, and there are a series of more transfers that have been made within the civic body. We are also standing by for a news briefing by the Maharashtra Chief Minister. Now, I don't want to speculate on what can be announced, but fact of the matter is the Chief Minister must take some of our questions and address some of our concerns. Do we have enough beds? Why have we not built enough hospitals and quarantine centers? What was discussed with the central team that has now decided that it needs to visit Mumbai every single week? And as we get you more details, let me first up say good evening to our managing editor, Vinay Tiwari, who's also joining us on this big story in the Urban Debate right now. Whenever we've had a series of conversations about the way Mumbai has been handled, how do you read the decision of, in the middle of a pandemic, the decision to transfer the civic body commissioner?
Yes, and you've hit the nail on the head by saying in the middle of the war. Look, the war against coronavirus in an absolute term started about 45 to 50 days ago. And just when we were beginning to see a bit of an alarming rise in the number of cases, if the government of the day decides to shunt out the civic chief, the one person who was leading that particular war in Mumbai, plus a couple of other officials as well, it is pretty much certain that the government is not happy with what's happening. We are not surprised by it, Tanvi, as you rightly started at the start. I think the Maharashtra Chief Minister is now speaking, Tanvi.
Yes. Yes, let's listen in.
एकत्र आलेलं काल मला दिसलं आणि जो माझा आत्मविश्वास आहे तो आणखीन दुणावला. याच्यामध्ये राजकारण नव्हतं. सगळ्यांनी मला सांगितलं की सरकार जे काही करतं आहे त्याच्यात आम्ही तुमच्या सोबत आहोत. आम्हाला जे जे काही वाटतं आहे हे आम्ही तुम्हाला सांगतो आहोत आणि आपणही त्यांना सांगितलं की वेळोवेळी तुम्हाला जे काही जाणवेल ते आपण सांगत राहा. आपण जे जे करता येणं शक्य असेल ते सर्व करू. ही अशी एक वेगळी एकजूट ही सर्व राजकीय पक्षांची नेत्यांची एका चांगल्या पद्धतीने चांगल्या वातावरणात त्या बैठकीमध्ये मला दिसली. आज खरं म्हणजे मी आपल्याशी बोलताना थोडासा व्यथित आहे. तो व्यथित एवढ्यासाठी आहे की आज पहाटे जे संभाजीनगर आणि जालनाच्या मध्ये त्या रेल्वे मार्गावरती घडलं, ह्या घटनेने मी खरंच एक मनातून असा दुःखी झालेलो आहे. हे जे मजूर इतर राज्यातले घरी जायला निघालेले आहेत, आपण त्यांना अनेकदा सांगितलेलं आहे, आजही मी सांगतोय की तुम्ही कुठेही अस्वस्थ होऊ नका, कुठेही बेचैन होऊ नका. राज्य सरकार पूर्ण तुमच्या सोबत आहे. मी यापूर्वीही सांगितलेलं आहे की इतर राज्यातले जे मजूर आहेत त्यांची आपण ठिकठिकाणी सोय केलेली आहे. जवळपास 5.5 ते 6 लाख मजुरांची सोय आपण राज्यात वेगवेगळ्या ठिकाणी केलेली आहे.
Chief Minister of Maharashtra there began his news briefing by saying that we had a very positive meeting with all party leaders yesterday. There was no politics in yesterday's meet, and that all party leaders said they are with the government. He's now referring to the incident that happened in Aurangabad, and he's reiterating the fact that we've said it earlier, we're saying it now, we will take care of everybody, all the daily wage workers, the poor laborers, and he's asking them to not get anxious, that the government will take care of them.
पण हे करत असताना गर्दी होता कामा नये. जर गर्दी उसळली तर तुम्हाला माहिती आहे धोका अजून आपल्या अवतीभोवती फिरतोय. धोका काय टळलेला नाही, संकट टळलेलं नाहीये. गर्दी झाली तर पुन्हा हे सगळं ठप्प होईल. आणि म्हणून मला असं वाटतं की या सर्व मजुरांना मी सांगतोय, मजदूर आहेत, कर्मचारी आहेत, इतर नागरिक आहेत, कि आपको परेशान होने की कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है. आज तक जिस संयम और संयम आपने जो बनाए रखा है, संयम बनाए रखें। महाराष्ट्र की सरकार पूरी तरह से आपके साथ है। आपका सहयोग हम दोनों के लिए अच्छा रहेगा, क्योंकि संकट बहुत ही गंभीर है। जैसे मैंने अभी अभी कहा कि महाराष्ट्र सरकार और जहां भी आप जाना चाह रहे हो, उस राज्य की सरकार और केंद्र की सरकार आपस में बात चल रही है। रेलवे की व्यवस्था हो रही है, बस की व्यवस्था हो रही है। जैसे 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 उपलब्धि बढ़ती जाएगी हम आपको बताते रहेंगे। पण हे करताना कुठेही अफवेला बळी पडू नका, कारण कोणतरी सांगते की इथून ट्रेन सुरू होणार, मग ही गर्दी तिकडे जाते। आता काल जे घडलं, आज पहाटे जे घडलं, अत्यंत दुर्दैवी आहे। खरं म्हणजे संभाजीनगरवरून ट्रेन सुरू होत आहेत, ट्रेन सुरू झालेल्या आहेत, पण ही जी लोक होती ती रस्त्याने न जाता रेल्वे रुळावरून निघाली, कारण त्यांना भुसावळला जायचं होतं। आता खरं त्यांना कोणी सांगितलं भुसावळला जायला, कल्पना नाही, पण भुसावळला जाताना चालून चालून थकली आणि मध्ये करमाड नावाचं गाव आहे, तिथे त्या रेल्वे ट्रॅकवरती बसली। पहाटेचा सुमार होता, थकलेले होते, बसले, तिथेच डोळा लागला आणि दुर्दैवाचा घाला आला। खरंच हे अत्यंत दुर्दैवी घटना आहे। मी मनातून अत्यंत दुःखी झालो या सगळ्या घटनेबाबत आणि पुन्हा पुन्हा सांगतो की कृपा करून जिथे आहात तिथेच थांबा। राज्याची यंत्रणा जी आहे ती आपल्या संपर्कात आहे। जसजशी आपली सोय होईल तसतसं आपण तुम्हाला घरी पाठवतो आहोत। तुम्हाला घरी पाठवल्याशिवाय आम्ही शांत बसणार नाही, पण शांती ठेवा, अस्वस्थ होऊ नका, कुठेही गडबड गोंधळ करू नका। अत्यंत शिस्तीत आणि संयमाने आपण हे काम करतो आहोत, पण त्याही राज्याच्या काही सुरक्षेच्या दृष्टीने अटी आहेत, चेकिंग असेल, काही असेल, ह्या सगळ्या गोष्टी होत आहेत आणि ते करून आपण ही सगळी व्यवस्था करतो आहोत। दुसरी गोष्ट, गेले 2-3 दिवस मुंबईमध्ये एक अफवा आहे। अफवा काय? मुंबई लष्कराच्या ताब्यात देणार, मुंबई लष्कराच्या ताब्यात देणार, मुंबईमध्ये लष्कर येणार, मग लॉकडाऊन होणार, सगळी दुकानं बंद होणार। लष्कर कशाला पाहिजे?
Well, Maharashtra Chief Minister is saying that we are taking care of the 6.5 lakh laborers across the state. What has happened in Aurangabad is unfortunate. He's saying we are starting trains to other states, but we have to ensure that crowding doesn't take place. He's appealing, in fact, he spoke in Hindi directly to appeal to the migrants from other states to say, we are here to take care of you. We will arrange trains and buses for you. Please do not panic. Don't fall for rumors. What has happened today at Karmad was tragic. He's assuring the migrants again and again that we will ensure you get home.
लष्कराची आवश्यकता नाहीये, लष्कर मुंबईत येणार नाही, पण जी एक आपण काळजी घेतोय, या सगळ्या गोष्टी मला तुम्हाला पुन्हा पुन्हा मी मुद्दामून सांगतोय, कारण आपल्या मनात कुठे गोंधळ गडबड होता कामा नये, गैरसमज तर अजिबात होता कामा नये। मी पहिल्या दिवसापासून सांगतोय की हे संकट गंभीर असलं तरी सरकार खंबीर आहे। मग खंबीरता म्हणजे काय? काही दिवसापूर्वी पाहिलं असेल, मी स्वतः या बांद्रा कुर्ला कॉम्प्लेक्सच्या मैदानात गेलो होतो, जिथे मोठं आपण कोविड केअर सेंटर उभारतोय, प्रथम उपचार केंद्र, तसंच रेसकोर्सला उभारतोय, तिथे वरळी डोममध्ये केलेलं आहे, गोरेगावचे एक्झिबिशन ग्राउंडमध्ये केलेलं आहे, कदाचित बांद्रा कुर्ला कॉम्प्लेक्समध्ये आपण ते आणखीन दुप्पट करू, आणखीन काही ठिकाणी वाढू। काय हे सगळं करतोय की हे संकट रोखताना समजा आपल्याला काही लोकांची सोय त्याच्यात करण्याची आवश्यकता वाटली, प्राथमिक केंद्रामध्ये म्हणजे कोणाला ऑक्सिजन देण्याची गरज लागली, समजा आता जे आपल्याकडे केसेस येत आहेत 80% एसिम्प्टोमॅटिक आहेत पण पॉझिटिव्ह आहेत, मग त्यांना ठेवायचं कुठे? तर त्याच्यासाठी ह्या आपण सोयी वाढवतो आहोत, पण हे वाढवताना पुढचा पावसाळा सुद्धा लक्षात घेतला पाहिजे। समजा पाऊस पडला, मुंबईचा पाऊस तुम्हाला माहिती आहे, त्रेधा तिरपीट उडवतो, मग त्यावेळेला काय करणार?
Many rumors which are getting circulated via WhatsApp or via SMS that a particular train is going to leave from this station. He's clearly saying that once you get registered, government will inform you from where the train is going to leave and where the train for which station. You don't need to gather outside the station or come out of your house to reach at the station. Government will be informing you. Uddhav Thackeray also said that there is another rumor which is going around and going viral that the paramilitary forces or the military will be called in the state of Maharashtra and especially in the Mumbai. He said nothing like that. Nothing is going to right now. The state government is controlling everything, and there is no need of a paramilitary or any other forces to come in Mumbai. So in short, he has rubbishes all such rumors of army being called in Mumbai.
जातात काही आजारी पडत आहेत, काही पोलीस तर बिचारे मृत्युमुखी पडले, आपल्यासाठी लढताना मृत्युमुखी पडले, आपल्यासाठी लढताना ते आजारी पडत आहेत, तणावाखाली त्यांना विश्रांती घ्यायला एक क्षणभर सुद्धा मिळत नाहीये, त्यांना सुद्धा थकवा आहे. माणसं आहेत ही, डॉक्टर सुद्धा माणसं आहेत, पोलीस सुद्धा माणसं आहेत. आजारी पडल्यानंतरच बाजूला करणं हा क्रूरपणा ठरेल. त्यांना सुद्धा मरे कुठेतरी एक विश्रांती देण्याची गरज आहे. आणि त्याच्यासाठी माझ्या मनात एक विचार आहे, तोही आत्ता आपल्याला सांगतो, पण ह्याचा लगेच चुकीचा अर्थ लावू नका. माझ्या मनात असा विचार आहे की केंद्र सरकारला मला सांगायचं आहे की जर का अधिकचं मनुष्यबळ लागलं, ह्या पोलिसांना आम्हाला थोडी विश्रांती देण्याची आवश्यकता लागली, तर काही दिवस पोलिसांना टप्प्याटप्प्याने विश्रांती देऊन त्यांना पुन्हा आणायचं, यांना टप्प्याने विश्रांती द्यायची, पुन्हा आणायचं.
Saying that he has got one idea that when the Mumbai police is basically relentlessly working since the day one of this lockdown, they are continuously working, and they are also human beings. They get tired because more than 12 hours duty they are doing. So it would be if state requires, then we can ask a center to send a kind of a reinforcement for these policemen, so that we can give rest to these policemen for some days, for 2 days or 3 days, and after that we can call them back. So if it is required, then only we will take help of a center. But as of now, it is not required. So that's why there is no need to get panicked that the paramilitary forces or the military will be in Mumbai and in state.
प्रांतीय मजुरांना आपण पाठवतो आहोत, तसंच त्या राज्यात आपली जी काही मजूर असतील त्यांना आपण परत आणतो आहोत. ट्रेननी येतील, ट्रेननी जातील, काही वेळेला बसेस, जसं कोट्याचे विद्यार्थी आपण बसेस पाठवून त्यांना घेऊन आलो. इतर राज्यात काही आपले विद्यार्थी आहेत त्यांना आपण घेऊन येणार आहोत. काही ठिकाणी तर राज्यांतर्गत विद्यार्थी कुठे कुठे अडकलेले आहेत. राज्यांतर्गत वाहतुकीचं काय, तुम्ही बाहेरच्या लोकांना पाठवतात, बाहेरच्या लोकांना आणतात, मग राज्यातल्या राज्यात आमचं काय, या सगळ्या गोष्टी आपण करणार आहोत. पण ह्या करताना सुद्धा मोजून मापून आपल्याला करावे लागणार आहेत. मोजून मापून. आपण गेल्या वेळेलाच मी सांगितलं होतं की आपल्या राज्यात रेड झोन, ऑरेंज झोन आणि ग्रीन झोन असे 3 झोन केलेले आहेत. त्याच्यात ग्रीन झोनमध्ये आपण जरा शिथिलता जास्त दिलेली आहे, ऑरेंज झोन मध्ये त्या प्रमाणात शिथिलता दिलेली नाही, आणि रेड झोन मध्ये
that we will be doing the intrastate movement in some bit, but not directly, because right now the zones have been marked by the state government, red zone, orange zone and green zone. So intrastate movement, if it has to get started, then it will be a zonal state movement which will get started, and slowly we will start that, because all of a sudden if we start all the intrastate movement, then it will defeat the purpose of a lockdown and social distancing.
रोखण्यामध्ये यश जरूर मिळवलेलं आहे, पण अजूनही चेन तोडण्यामध्ये आपल्याला यश नाही मिळालेलं. त्यांची जी साखळी आहे, त्या विषाणूची साखळी तोडण्यात अजून आपल्याला यश नाही मिळालेलं. ते आता तोडायचंच आहे. ते तोडल्याशिवाय आता राहायचंच नाही, कारण नाहीतर किती दिवस चालू राहणार, लॉकडाऊनचं काय होणार.
Right now he is explaining that so far we are trying our level best to contain this, and we have been able to contain this, but we have not been able to succeed to break the chain of this coronavirus, and that is the aim of Maharashtra state government, because we cannot go ahead with this kind of a lockdown for a longer period, for next 5-6 months or 7-8 months. So that's why right now the priority is to break this chain. Once we break this chain and every state or every district of Maharashtra becomes a green zone, then we can easily lift this lockdown and start our normal life.
जबाबदारी पूर्ण ताकदीने आपल्याला पेलावी लागणार आहे. आणि म्हणून आपल्याला जी मी विनंती करतो आहे की आपलं जे सहकार्य आजपर्यंत तुम्ही दिलेलं आहात, तेच यापुढे सुद्धा काही दिवसासाठी हे आपल्या सरकारला तुमच्यासाठी लागणार आहे. मग कोणीतरी मला सांगतं की मुंबईमधल्या टेस्ट कमी करणार का? अजिबात नाहीये. आजपर्यंत मी इतर राज्यांची तुलना नाही करत, पण गेल्याही वेळेला आकडा सांगितलेला तुम्हाला, 1.5-2 लाखाच्या आसपास महाराष्ट्राने टेस्ट केलेले आहेत. एकट्या मुंबईने लाखाच्या वरती टेस्ट केलेले आहेत. टेस्ट कुठेही कमी नाही होणार, अजिबात नाही होणार. जिथे
टेस्टिंग is clearly saying that we want to break this chain, and it doesn't mean that we are going slow on the testing. So far, more than 2 lakh people have been tested in different parts of Maharashtra, across Maharashtra, and we are going to continue this testing aggressively.
काही केसेस अशा आहेत की शेवटच्या टप्प्यात आपल्याकडे येत आहेत. शेवटच्या टप्प्यात म्हणजे सगळं काही उपचाराच्या पलीकडे गेलेलं असतं तेव्हा ते येत आहे, आणि तिथे आपण काहीच करू शकत नाही. काही वेळेला
So
असं होतं की एखादा रुग्ण
again, he's
आला
speaking about the testing, and he's saying that we need a cooperation of people. We need your help. The way you have cooperated since day one of this pandemic, and the way lockdown happened, and people of Maharashtra help us. So we need your support. Continue. And he clearly said that no testing. We will not be lowering the testing. We will not be going easy with the testing. We are going to go ahead with the aggressive testing, because testing is the only thing which will basically determine, or which will help us to identify the positive cases.
महाराष्ट्रात 18,000 आकडा मोठा आहे, पण जवळपास 3,500 रुग्ण हे पूर्ण बरे होऊन घरी पण गेलेले आहेत. दुर्दैवाने काही मृत्यू झालेले आहेत, पण 3,500 हाही आकडा बरंच काही सांगून जातो. आणि हा आकडा ज्यांना लक्षणं होती ती लक्षणं पूर्ण बरी होऊन, आणि काही जणांना लक्षणं नव्हती पण क्वारंटाईनमध्ये होते, त्यांचा तो काळ पूर्ण करून पुढची चाचणी निगेटिव्ह आल्यानंतर ते घरी गेलेले आहेत. हा रोजचा आकडा वाढत चाललेलाच आहे. घरी जाणारे, जसं रुग्णांची संख्या पॉझिटिव्हचा एक आकडा येतोय, तसंच घरी जाणारे सुद्धा जात आहेत. त्यांचा तो क्वारंटाईनचा काळ, आयसोलेशनचा काळ, उपचाराचा काळ.
People that though the numbers or the cases of COVID positive patients are increasing day by day, but yes, there are many cases. There are many patients who are getting discharged from the hospitals after they completely recovered after their second test of COVID comes negative. So that also people should consider. And once they see any kind of symptom, they should immediately rush to the fever clinics in their area, or see the private clinics and get themselves tested, because it's observation which he's talking about, that most of the cases, or many cases we can say, that comes at the last minute. So it becomes very difficult to start the treatment immediately and save their lives. And that's why he's requesting people that if we get to know about the symptoms, if you come to know about the symptoms, and if you feel that somewhere you have that kind of symptom, then immediately rush to the nearest hospital or the fever clinics, so that we can test you immediately. And if your test result comes positive, then we can start the treatment at that moment.
Okay, we're going to keep going back to Mayuresh, who will track that news briefing for us. But so far, what the Maharashtra Chief Minister has said is an assurance to the migrants that we will provide you transport. In fact, he spoke in Hindi, perhaps in a bit to reach out to some of the migrants to say, don't worry, we will take care of you. And he's responding to all the rumors that have been doing the rounds. There's been a huge amount of, rumor mongering, WhatsApp message sharing, and some panic that has been there in the minds of Mumbaikars for the last couple of days about what's going to happen. Is will Mumbai get sealed? Will army be brought in? Will paramilitary be brought in? And that's the Chief Minister. They're saying we don't need the army. Why should we bring in that? But he's also made an interesting point of saying that the Mumbai police is stressed and they've been on the job now for a while, and they are now, getting tired. So we could perhaps look at bringing in these central forces to relieve and to give a break to the Mumbai police. So perhaps that's where some amount of speculation and rumor mongering actually began from. Let me quickly go back to Vinay, and before we say good evening to our panelists as well, Vinay, to the conversation we were having, no clear word from the Chief Minister on the big challenge which is at his hands and how he is actually going to deal with this.
Oh, absolutely. And look, as we started off saying, we've sensed a bit of a problem in the last fortnight or so in the way the government has handled the situation in Mumbai and possibly rest of Maharashtra, but certainly in Mumbai, because remember, of the about 18,000 cases that are there in Maharashtra, Mumbai accounts for over 11,000. And when you have a government which changes a field general in the middle of a war, clearly there is something not right. And this is not something that has come out of the blue. We've pointed out to many policy flip-flops. We've pointed out to confusions. We've pointed out to some very, very adverse reports that were coming from the field in terms of the containment facilities that were being provided by the government. And that one very unfortunate visual that came out the other day from the Sion Hospital, which is run by the civic body, which went viral virtually internationally. And I don't think that's the kind of visual that you need coming out from an Indian hospital at a time when most of the world tends to believe that we're doing a good job of it. Bombay, as I said, is possibly the most critical part of our war against coronavirus. It is not only our financial capital, it will bring the whole financial recovery recovery plan of India down if it doesn't fix the problem soon enough. And hence, in some ways, it's a very decisive action that's been taken today, but it's something that I hope should have been done a little earlier, because Mumbai is right now staring at a fairly serious crisis, Tanvi.
Yes, absolutely, Vinay, and some amount of speed up in the strategy and the implementation is required. Step after step that we are seeing, is the government now saying that okay, we've asked the center if we can use the defense hospitals or the railway hospitals. Okay, the center has told us, and we're going to be stepping up on our quarantine facilities. Some of these things should have been done earlier. I also have Rajiv Pandey, spokesperson for the BJP, and Charan Singh Sapra of the Congress Party joining us. Mr. Sapra, the fact that the BMC chief has been shunted out, I mean, what more proof do we want of the fact of what we've been saying all this while, that the Mumbai situation hasn't been handled properly?
Hey, Tanvi, there are 2-3 things. Let me put the things in perspective. These transfers of IAS officers which you are mentioning, that is not the only transfer of Praveen Pardesi which has happened. There are 6 IAS officers who have been transferred, and this can be seen as a regular transfer also. Mr. Manoj Sonik, who was the PWD secretary, has been transferred as finance department secretary.
No, please, Mr. Sapra, please.
Please. No, you don't intervene. Let me answer, please. Hey, this is not the way to do the debate. Mr. Kishore Raje Nimbalkar, Relief and Rehabilitation Secretary, has been shifted as PWD Secretary. Ashwini Bide and Sanjeev Jaiswal, they have been the 2 IAS officers, have been brought in as additional municipal commissioners of BMC. Mr. Chahal has replaced Praveen Pardesi. There are 6 to 7 IAS officers who have been transferred. Of course, there can be a decision which the CM has taken promptly, because we have been seeing that in Mumbai, the BMC commissioner is not seen as controlling the entire situation very effectively, like the sign video has come. So the chief minister is also answerable. I am saying there are 2 things to it. It is one, that there was a transfer which was coming, and the other thing, that he has taken a corrective measures also. You can take that way also.
What? I don't understand this, Mr. Sapra. Mr. Sapra, I don't understand this. You are saying these are routine transfers in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of a lockdown. We are indulging in routine transfers. That just makes it sound even more frivolous and callous, as if we don't understand the gravity of the situation.
No, let me tell you that the Gujarat Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation, the municipal commissioner over there, Mr. Vijay Nehra, he has been sent on permanent quarantine. So the thing is that we have to take some corrective measures. There are certain things which cannot be spoken on the media, but yes.
So this is a corrective measure.
Until yesterday, you were criticizing Praveen Pardesi, and now you are trying to defend Praveen Pardesi.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm saying.
No, I'm not. I said this exactly the same thing, Mr. Sapra. You didn't get what I said. I said what Mira now has been saying all this while. Yes, that's what I'm saying as well. That the government isn't this acknowledgement and proof of the fact that the situation hasn't been handled right so far. That's exactly what I'm saying. Even now, I'm not defending Mr. Pardesi. I am saying that action needs to be taken. We are far behind the preparation curve.
No, we are not far behind. Let me now give you the preparation data which the Chief Minister has not given, or maybe you must be knowing all this. See, we are having around 60,000 quarantine beds in Mumbai. We are enhancing that also, and by 30th May, we will be having 75,000 quarantine beds. The government has issued a notice to 2,400 private hospitals, which are opening now. The government has also issued notices to 25,000 private hospital doctors, and they have been asked to come on duty for COVID for 15 days at least. So government is taking all these measures. Government is building a hospital at MMRDA, which is more than probably 1,000-bed hospital over there, which will be having ICU and everything over there. So we are updating everything. We have informed railways, we have informed the defense ministry, we have informed the Mumbai Port Trust that their hospitals will be used for COVID now. So government is doing everything what they can do. We are roping in private hospitals, we are roping in the private doctors, we are roping in the defense hospitals, everything we are doing. So it is not that the government is not doing enough. We are doing, but simultaneously...
Correct. You're right, Mr. Sapra. The government is doing all of this now.
No.
6 weeks of lockdown have come and gone, Rajiv Pandey. 6 weeks of lockdown have come and gone. Now we are looking at additional beds and ventilators and special
We are
hospitals.
not looking now.
That's not enough. We look at the visuals of what happened in Sion. We can't say the government is doing enough and the government is doing so much. Please look at what happened in the Sion hospital.
60,000 beds have been arranged 50 days ago.
Those are quarantine centers, Mr. Sapra.
You don't want
Those are quarantine centers.
Are you
If you have
trying to say
50,000
that
beds,
Mumbai doesn't need-
why are people in
Are you
hospitals being
are
treated
you
next to
trying-
dead bodies?
Are you
Why are
trying to
people
say
in
that
hospitals being
Mumbai
treated
doesn't
next
need
to dead
quarantine
bodies?
center? Are you trying to say Mumbai doesn't need quarantine center? Are you of this view?
No.
We should not have
Tanvi,
quarantine
can I-
beds
I am not.
Tell me that.
No.
and beds in the private hospitals. are
Okay,
there.
Rajiv
Tell
Pandey,
me
please.
that.
Rajiv Pandey. Yes, one at a time.
Okay, give me a chance later
what
on.
is
I'll
this?
put
Rajiv
it first.
Pandey. Rajiv Pandey.
Tanviji, in Maharashtra from day one, the government was not in control. You know, when the lockdown was imposed in the whole country, you know, in Maharashtra we have seen that how in Mumbai people were making fun of the lockdown. Around 30% of the area there was no lockdown at all. I don't want to go into the nitty-gritty that where that lockdown was not effective and where it was effective. That is one point. Second point, whatever you were saying every day, today the government has confessed that yes, my municipal commissioner was not doing the job. So today what they have confessed after creating this kind of havoc that people are spending nights, the patients are spending nights with the dead bodies, they should have taken this action 5 weeks back, because whatever is the situation happening in Mumbai, the same is happening. That is one point. Today, Honorable Honorable Chief Minister of Maharashtra said that we will seek help from the central forces. Now he has himself started this debate that whether the other agencies will come.
No, Tanvi,
You know,
I need to intervene, Tanvi here.
Wait a minute, can I respond, sir? Please. What I'm saying, he has himself said that Mumbai police is tired. So who have made them tired? What kind of work you were doing for so many weeks that you are yourself admitting that Mumbai police is tired now? Why? Why you have not gone to the government and said that Mumbai police is unable to control Mumbai city? That is one point. Second point, that whatever they are talking about that we are doing testing and all, there is a flooding of data in Mumbai. There is a flooding of data in Mumbai, and I. Sir, can I make my point complete? Then you can. I have not disturbed you. Sapra Sahab. Sapra Sahab. Sapra Sahab. No. What I'm saying.
Forget your question.
What? Tanvi
forget your question.
you note down the question. Note down. I was noting your question.
Okay,
What I'm
okay.
saying,
I
Tanvi ji-
don't have
Mr.
a habit
Pandey.
of noting.
Yes.
Tanvi ji, last line. What I'm saying, Tanvi ji, this is not the
Yes.
time of politics. This is the time that we all should be united and fight. If Maharashtra government is admitting, confessing that they need central forces, they need central hospitals, no problem. They should come out quickly, but not after
But
clearly
they said it
destroying
now.
6 weeks, where 6 weeks, this is the financial capital of the country, is choked by this government, and for that, they will be held accountable and responsible.
Tanvi, can I answer?
Yes, okay, all right. Let me.
number one-
Yes, Mr. Sapra. I
Number one-
need to go to Vinay
number
Tiwari,
one-
but before that, you can answer
just
this.
wait,
Yes,
just wait.
yes.
Let me know. See, number one, the BJP spokesperson said that Praveen Pardesi should have been removed 5 weeks ago. If they feel that way, I take it. That's not an issue. Secondly, he said ki why Mumbai police is worked out. Is he not ready to believe that Mumbai police force is working day and night, 18 hours, 20 hours in a day? They are also human beings. What happened if the chief minister has said that we intend to call in the central forces? We need to give rest to these people.
I agree with
also.
you.
They are also corona affected.
I agree with you,
so-
Sapra ji,
is
but their
BJP
hands
is
are
BJP
tied
so
behind their
insensitive?
back.
No, is
Mumbai
BJP so
police
insensitive?
is hands
BJP
are
so
tied behind the
insensitive?
back,
Now,
and
let
we
me
have
talk, let me
seen
talk.
that
Mr.
how some
Pandey,
people in
Mr.
the city.
No, 1 minute, please.
attack
No,
Mumbai
1
police.
minute, please.
Mr. Pandey,
Mumbai
please.
police was
Calm down,
attacked
calm
by
down.
whom?
I can't understand
Please
either
behave.
of you.
Please behave.
I cannot
Please behave,
understand
Mr.
either
Pandey.
of you
Yeah,
gentlemen,
you need
one
to
after
behave.
the
Be a
other,
good boy.
please.
Be a good boy. Yeah.
Yes,
See,
yes,
the thing
Mr.
is-
Sapra.
The thing is that the BJP has to believe, are they against the Mumbai police? Are they against the Maharashtra police? They want that the Mumbai police and the Maharashtra police should work like animals. Is this the way to talk? What is the BJP up to? Everybody is a human being, and if they are saying that
Tanvi,
we
I would like to
want
give
to
the
fight, we want to
response
fight
on this issue.
COVID collectively. If you wish to fight COVID collectively,
Okay,
then
let me
ask
bring
the
in.
Prime Minister-
Both of
ask
you
the
take
Prime
a deep
Minister to
breath.
Only one line.
Both of you take a deep breath.
Only one line. Only one line.
I need to
Ask the
go
Prime
across to Mr.
Minister
Vinay Tiwari.
to give 25,000 crores, which the
fact
state
of the
is
matter
demanding.
is,
The
Vinay.
state also-
Yes, Mr. Sabra, 1 minute. Okay. Now you're repeating your points. We've made the point about getting the help from center. That's all the states keep talking about. But Vinay, what has happened in the last 2 days just shows that there is something amiss, that there is an acknowledgement, yes, and a lot needs to be done. I mean, how else will you explain that here is the state government saying we need help of the central forces to relieve the Mumbai police? How else do you explain that they are now saying that the central government will visit the city of Mumbai every week to look at the kind of implementation plan? And now the government is telling us they will, get railway hospitals and defense hospitals and additional quarantine centers.
Yes, and there are 5 very clear things, Tanvi, that look, Mr. Sapra has a compulsion of defending the government that he represents, and I don't have to blame him for that. Of course, that's his job to do. But here is the deal. This is one crisis where every single state chief minister in the country, 30 of them, are facing an identical problem. Of course, each state differs from each other, but a state chief minister, a government, and a fairly gargantuous bureaucracy needs to understand their own topography and sociology. That's not something that anyone else from outside will come and teach you. You know what your state's problems are. Point 1. Point 2. I don't see how anyone thought that coronavirus is some kind of a cyclone that will come for a while, stay here, and then blow off and go and reach some other country. It's a virus. It is going to stay with us. The one thing that will be required from us is to figuring out how to deal with it and how to handle the situation that will go to worsen. That was the precise logic of announcing a nationwide lockdown. The 40-day lockdown was announced so that it gives time to governments across the country to prepare for it. And the bad news for Mr. Sapra is that there are many states currently who've given comparative examples of how they've been able to anticipate the problems and prepared for it. Now, one of the preparement is we can't mix up different facts. Containment zones are different from treatment centers. Critical care intensive units are different from regular hospitals. Private practice is different from government hospital services. BMC's health infrastructure was always creaking. It has got showed up in this crisis very, very badly. All the visuals that you saw the other day from Sion and the other hospitals point towards that. What has compounded this problem is a fairly lackadaisical and a flip-flop approach to policy. They've changed the measurement tactics multiple times, the last one happening yesterday. They've gone around changing the method in which they want to contain a zone and actually test every single person. Dharavi being a prime example of it, Tanvi, where they first decided to do a thermal test with every single resident of the city and then discovered that May is very hot and thermal tests are ineffective. That is very amateurish, and that is the reason why you have a central government team now visiting Bombay, coming down fairly hard on the state government, and now the team being asked to come back every single week, because there is no other solution. You cannot have one city and one state bring the whole country down, and it is about time that the bureaucracy was put in shape. I totally sympathize with the Bombay police, because the Bombay police has been stretched and they worked hard at it, but that's something you knew. This is not a battle that's going to be fought in 15. It's a long battle, and we should have sought help earlier if we thought that we did not have enough men and material to handle that, Tanvi.
Yes, absolutely, Vinay. That some of these things we should have thought of earlier, and there is a lot more that needs to be done. Mumbai is a big challenge, and at least there is some amount of acknowledgement of that fact right now. Thank you to all of you for joining us on this conversation, viewers. We told you early this week that an alarm needs to be raised as far as Mumbai is concerned, because things weren't being managed properly. Now, these may be just a set of decisions that have been taken, including moving out the current BMC chief. Let us hope that this is just a sign that there is an acknowledgement within the civic body and the government that things need to be stepped up. We need better planning, lesser flip-flops, better healthcare management, clearer instructions and messaging, and stricter implementation on ground if we have to beat coronavirus here in Mumbai. Thank you for joining us. viewers, and now we put the spotlight on one of the most painful stories that are unfolding across the country right now. A story that is living proof that in our country, we are still failing, even in 2020, to take care of the poorest. That in our country, no matter what the issue is, what the problem or the tragedy is, it is this segment that gets hit the hardest, and we fail to take care of them. Today we woke up to the news of 16 migrants being run over by a train because they were sleeping on these tracks. On their way from Jalna to Bhusawal, these migrants, jobless, without any hope of any livelihood in the current lockdown status, just wanted to get home. When they didn't get any help, they decided to set off on foot with no directions, no guidance, no support. They set off on foot to cover hundreds of kilometers. Tired in the night, as they walked along the railway tracks, they slept there on the tracks without really knowing that there could be a train that could run over them. Their food that they were carrying was just a bunch of dried up rotis. That's all that they had. And in the hope that someday they will reach home and at least get one decent meal and some time with their family, instead of being stranded here in some shelter home, wondering where the next meal is going to come from. 16 lives lost. This is just one story. Tonight I'm going to bring you these different stories that just show you how we've created this giant migrant mess, where our policies aren't clear, where our policies are changing every single day, where our policies are only limited to being on paper, are completely disconnected with what's happening on ground, where hundreds and thousands of them are gathering, fighting for trains and buses to go home. They have no food. If you travel across half the hinterland, you will see people walking down on the roads for hundreds of kilometers. And if you speak to them, they will tell you they had no option. But first up, I want to go to Sandhya to get you the story of what happened in Aurangabad. Sandhya?
Tanvi, the incident took place at 5:22 today morning. 16 migrant laborers, they started walking from Jalna on 7th of May at 7 in the evening. These migrant laborers were from MP and they used to work in a factory in Jalna. Now they got to know from somewhere that a train was leaving from Bhusawal to MP. That's exactly why they started walking. They walked for 36 kilometers, Tanvi, and half of the path they actually covered by walking on road, and the rest of the half they were actually walking side by side of these tracks. And after walking for at least 36 kilometers, when they were tired, they sat on the tracks for a while to actually rest for some time. But because they were too tired, they were so tired, they actually dozed off. And this is all based on the testimonies of those who were nearby and one of the injured person who was there with these people. And that's exactly when the train, it was an empty petroleum tanker train which was coming from Hyderabad and going towards Panewadi in Maharashtra. The incident happened. Now, what's being done? If we talk about incident, an inquiry is ordered by Railway Department. The inquiry will take place at Commissioner Railway Safety level, and that inquiry actually will talk about the fact that how exactly did it happen, and because as of now, primarily Railway Department has said that how the local pilot did everything to ensure to stop the train, but that unfortunately couldn't be done. Another thing, Tanvi, you were actually talking about policies, different policies being made. In fact, today, Bombay High Court was hearing to a petition related to migrant laborers and train expenses which are to be taken care by Central and Maharashtra government. At that time, Bombay High Court also made a verbal observation and directed Maharashtra government that every policy related to migrant laborers has to be properly and adequately publicized by the state government so that these kind of incidents can be avoided.
Yes, in fact, Sandhya, you will know, and for our viewers also to know this, in the last hearing, when the whole conversation and fight about the fare was happening, about who is supposed to pay for it, the Maharashtra government said, well, we don't have a policy, we don't know. That's how bad the communication between various states and the center has been on this issue. Before I go to our panelists who've patiently waited by one more report that I want to bring to our viewers, and this one is from Rajasthan. In Jaipur, migrant workers have given up on waiting for special trains and just decided to head home, walk to Uttar Pradesh and to Bihar. Here's a report that Arvind got.
These 3 migrant labour are walking back to their home. They would walk around 500 kilometers if they would not get any bus to go to UP. But the borders in Rajasthan have been sealed, so it is obvious that they would have to walk to their village. The only reason they are walking to their village is that they want satisfaction of their families. What they say is that they've been paid by their employers and they didn't had much of the difficulties in lockdown in Rajasthan, but still they have to go back to their home once as the family is calling them.
हम लोग गांव जा रहे हैं अपना.
अच्छा, कहाँ है गाँव?
गया जिला.
अच्छा, कहाँ से आ रही हो?
गुजरात से.
कितना चल रही है?
लगभग 700 किलोमीटर चले हैं.
अच्छा, और कोई चारा नहीं है रुकने का या कुछ नहीं?
रुकने का कहाँ रुके सर, अपना तो घर चला जाएंगे.
अब देख रहे हैं कि पूरा कंपनी बंद हो रहा है, तो हम लोग और आदमी निकल गया, तो देखें कि हम लोग क्या करेंगे. तो हम लोग भी चल दिए. अब गाड़ी घोड़ा की कोई सुविधा है नहीं, और बिहार में नीतीश कुमार गाड़ी का अलाउ नहीं दे रहा है. अच्छा, ये हो रहा है.
नहीं तो अब तो बहुत दूर है गया, आप तो अहमदाबाद
दूर है तो कैसा हूँ तो चल नहीं पड़ेगा साहब. क्या करेंगे, अब फैक्ट्री भी बंद हो गया था उधर में, अब हम लोग भी कितना बैठ के क्या करें.
तकलीफ है ये सर कि जैसे मान लीजिए सभी लोग तो निकल रहे हैं अपने गांव के लिए, तो हम लोग रह के क्या करेंगे. 2-4 आदमी रहेंगे तो एक तो फैक्ट्री बंद है, इसलिए जा रहे हैं.
काम मिलेगा तो वापस आना पड़ेगा.
हाँ, वापस जाना पड़ेगा.
कमाने वाला है,
हाँ,
खाने वाला है सर 5.
इसलिए
तो पैदल तो बहुत दूर है.
हाँ, दूर तो है, बहुत दूर है.
Well, let's say good evening to Irudhya Rajan, Professor for Center for Development Studies, and Yogendra Yadav, National President for Swaraj India, joining us this evening. Mr. Yadav, we had a conversation, a few weeks ago, and at that point you had insisted that there needs to be a comprehensive central policy if these migrants have to be taken back home. 2 weeks later, do you think we've managed to do that?
Tanvi, what's happened this morning gives you the answer, whether we've succeeded or not. This is a national shame. I honestly don't know how to react to something like this. This is a country that speaks about going to Mars. We want to go to moon. We want to have all these great missile missions. We cannot take our own people from Surat to Bhubaneswar to Gorakhpur. If it was only a natural tragedy, you would say, all right, sad, devastated, but what can we do? Unfortunately, this is a man-made tragedy. Man-made tragedy, which is because of lack of careful thought and planning. You can react to this incident by localizing it. You can say, well, this is a problem, probably that helpless train driver may become the scapegoat. I hope he doesn't. Who would you blame? You would blame these people for sleeping on the railway track, which is, of course, a crime. Or you would go deeper. If you want to go deeper, then you would see that this could have happened anywhere in the country. It so happened that it was Maharashtra. Maharashtra government hasn't been particularly good in handling it. But honestly, this could have been anywhere in the country. And what lies at the bottom of it is a system where there is no national plan for transporting the migrants. Everything keeps flip-flopping every second day. At the point, why do they have to migrate? Because there is no plan to offer them food and cash where they happen to be. They are not going to village because they are looking at a lucrative career. They are going there because this is the last resort option that they have to resort to. Why do they have to do that? Because we have invisibilized them. Because they don't exist in our thinking about this country. We issue notifications about this country, and the fact that this country has such a large population of migrant labor does not even occur to us. Migrant labor are an afterthought for us. So honestly, this to my mind is result of, call it a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy of commission, it's a conspiracy of omission, where there is really no plan. I was listening to you about Mumbai. And you said rightly so, there is no clear policy, there is flip-flop, etc. That's exactly the case with the overall transportation situation in the country. There is no clear, coherent policy from the center.
Yes.
There is flip. There is no coordination, and there is no communication to the ordinary people.
Yes, and the worst part is that, some of these state governments are of the view that if they start an online registration platform and send trains according to that, that's the end of the issue. But it's not. Every state has its own different policy. Bihar says we will ensure they are in quarantine, and after 21 days of quarantine, we will reimburse them for the travel money. How are they going to pay for it up front? Now the Delhi government is saying, okay, we will pay for these guys to go back to Bihar and then let them stay in the quarantine center there. Odisha first said that we will bring these people back and put them in quarantine, and of course now there is a High Court order that says they need to be pre-tested, and if once they are test negative, only then can they enter Odisha. When Uttar Pradesh said they need to be pre-tested, Maharashtra turned around and said, no, we cannot test 8 lakh migrants before we send them home. It's practically impossible. So deal with it at your end. Jharkhand says we are ready for these many lakh migrants to come, but we are going to send them to their home villages and districts, and there they have to be quarantined because we don't have such large centers. Now, every state in this country, Professor Rajan, is on a different tangent, making its own plans, and caught in the middle are lakhs of these poor people. Should they be sent home? Should they just be kept where they are?
No, I think you should look at it in a very, 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 very serious way. Partly because what is happening now is that in our understanding, migrants don't exist. Because that's what the whole thing happening. Because even the lockdown period, we never imagined the migrants in the process. We never made migrants in the mainstream in our development. They are all invisible. Today we are seeing them. At least COVID brought migrants and migration to the forefront by media, policymakers, politicians, everybody talking about migrant today. And there are people today, they are suffering everywhere, either in the place of origin, where they came from, like states like UP or Rajasthan or Bihar, or where they are staying right now, like Tamil Nadu, Kerala or Maharashtra, or some of them even staying like a stranded migrants. They don't know what to do because they cannot watch TV, they cannot make anything. We are not, in our frame of mind, they are not there. In fact, for example, I was surprised when Karnataka government said there will be no train for the migrant to be transported. Why? Because the construction industry said, if all of them will go, what will happen to construction? Please remember, where are those employers? Where are those employers until they do? Now they say they will send back. I think we have nothing on them. We are only giving them not even lip service. As our earlier friend rightly said, we are in darkness, and the process, they are suffering like anything in their own land. They are not suffering in Dubai. They are not suffering in Qatar. They are suffering in our own eyes.
Correct.
And we are not able to help them. We are not able to help them.
So here is the other point I wanted to ask both of you gentlemen, and Mr. Yadav, maybe we'll begin with you. On one hand, you should not be able to stop anybody from wanting to go home, especially when they don't have any source of livelihood there, they're far away and they're struggling for food and shelter. On the other hand, there is the concern that as they go to their home home villages, they may carry the infection to parts where the infection hasn't hit. Now clearly, for example, in Odisha, the people who came from Surat have now brought around with them a large number of cases, which is why Odisha is now re-looking at its own plan. The second part, of course, is the aspect of how will they earn their money. If in city a month later work begins, they won't be there, they won't be able to come back. How do you settle this debate? Should they be going home, not going home? What are the risks involved?
Tanvi, on the first part, I thought it was debated for about 40 days when the government stand was that this would be a health risk to send them, and the government decided not to send them. To my mind, it was a very unwise policy, because sending them at a very early stage, in fact, even before the lockdown began, if it was postponed by 3 or 4 days and people were allowed to go, the risk was very minimal because remember at that time, throughout the country, we had only 500 people who were infected. Today, we have more than 50,000. So the risk is literally 100 times more today. But it was not decided. The decision was delayed, very unwisely so. But once the MHA issues a notification to say, yes, trains will be run, and there would be precaution at both ends, which means the government has resolved this issue. The government is of the mind that, yes, we can handle the consequences. Belatedly, it has decided that if there are precautions taken at both ends, then this transition is possible. So that debate has been settled. The only thing we should debate now is whether precautions are sufficient at both ends or not, some testing or some kind of a checking before, and some quarantine at the end. That debate is settled. You and I should not be debating that. The second question is it in the interest of the migrants to go? My simple answer is, please allow them to decide. They know better than you and I do. Tanvi, I cannot decide for you which channel you should work for.
Correct.
I may want you to stay with some channel, but that's not my decision. Correct. It has to be your decision. They understand that they are not going to a great prospective career. And if they go there, they would go there only with a realistic assessment that they have nothing to fall back upon in these cities. So if we collectively fail to persuade them, yes, assure them that there is any livelihood available to them, then who are we to prevent them? This is bonded labor. This is indentured labor, nothing else, to stop them now in the pretext of industry, to say, my industry will suffer if you go. I did not care for you for 40 days. I did not offer you wages. I did not offer you food. Yes. But now that you are leaving, I'm saying, oh my God, my industry would suffer. This is obnoxious.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Mr. Yogendra Yadav. And, you know, it just goes on to show that for 40 days when I didn't need you, I didn't think of you, and now that I do for my own business, I am asking the governments to not allow you to go back, to cancel the trains. And I'm glad the Karnataka government, realized that that's not right, even though it may have been out of a fear for a law and order situation and nothing else. But voices, every day, viewers, the voices that we're getting from different parts of the country. Arvind got it to you from Rajasthan. Today from Guntur, we got these set of visuals and videos which were in a sense very concerning and disturbing, but also heartbreaking, because there were a bunch of laborers who were saying, well, you told us to come today for our certificates so that we could go home for our registration. Then you said, 2 days ago you told us come later. 4 days ago you told us it will happen. We are tired, we are exhausted, we don't know what to do. Please help us. Hundreds of such voices from across the country, and yet what we see is that despite debating this, highlighting it, raising the questions day after day after day, all that we are getting are empty assurances from individual states with no concrete plan, no coordination between states, and absolutely zero empathy for what's happening to so many of our fellow citizens. I'm going to thank both Mr. Yogendra Yadav and Professor Rajan for joining us. The story is not over. We continue to get visuals from various parts of the country, from Gujarat to Karnataka, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Rajasthan and Delhi. I mean, imagine the plight of a family that decides to carry the children on their shoulders and walk for 500 kilometers because there is no other solution. On one hand, you have these stories, and on the other hand, you have stories of a fully well-planned government initiative and a mission to bring back stranded people from abroad. If thousands of them can be brought back home without any hitch, lakhs of them in fact are in the works, why are we struggling with those who are in our country and just want to go home? Think about it. Thank you for joining us.